You've been doing your mornings wrong. And I don't mean the coffee. I mean the 60 minutes, the first 60 minutes after your alarm goes off, those are silently deciding whether your body burns fat or stores it, whether your brain fires sharp or sluggish, whether your energy crashes by 11 a.m. or carries you powerfully through the rest of your day. This is your morning routine, your fat-burning window, your all-day energy blueprint, and most people are destroying it before they even stand up. Here's what nobody is telling you. It's not about willpower. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. It is about biology, and if you don't trigger your body's biological sequence in the right order right after waking, you are fighting your own metabolism and losing. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm going to share could literally restructure how your body works every single day. I'm Dr. Elias, and at Vitawave, we believe something most health channels will never say out loud. Health is not a destination, it's a rhythm you learn to ride. We don't just treat symptoms, we decode your biological waves to turn back the clock from the inside out. If you're watching this video, you already know something most people haven't figured out yet, that real health is not about hacks or trends. It's about working with your biology, not against it. That instinct you have, it's correct, and today I'm going to give you the science that proves it. 60 minutes, 5 moves, 0 guesswork. Let's get into it. The cellular alarm clock. I know what that morning exhaustion feels like. You open your eyes and you're already behind, already tired before the day starts. And for years, I thought that was just who I was, that some people are morning people and some aren't. It's not who you are. It is biology being ignored. And we are going to fix that right now. Let's start at the very beginning. Not your alarm, not your phone, your cells. The moment your eyes open, before you touch your pillow, before you reach for your phone, a signal begins. Your retinas, even through closed eyelids, have been waiting. The second real light hits them, something called your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your body's internal master clock, fires a cortisol pulse. Not the stress cortisol you've from nightmare stories about. This is your Cortisol Awakening Response, the CAR, and it is one of the most powerful metabolic triggers your body owns. Here's why this matters to you right now. That CAR pulse, when properly triggered by natural light, boosts your metabolism by up to 20% within the first 30 minutes. 20%! That means before you've eaten a single thing, your body has already decided how aggressively it will burn energy today. But here is where most people destroy it, and I mean destroy it. They wake up, roll over, and scroll social media in a dark room. Your phone screen does not trigger the CAR the way natural light does. You are literally dimming your own metabolic fire before the day even begins. So step 1, and this is non-negotiable, get natural light into your eyes within the first 5 to 10 minutes of waking. Open a window, step outside. Even on a cloudy day, outdoor light is 10 to 50 times brighter than indoor lighting. Your cells will know the difference. I promise you, they will know. Now, let's talk about what happens inside your body when you get this right. That CAR pulse works in concert with your core temperature, which has been at its absolute lowest, what scientists call the nadir, just before waking. As light exposure begins, your core temperature starts rising. Your mitochondria, the power generators in every single one of your cells, upregulate their activity, and your cells shift from conservation mode, which is how they operate all night, into active thermogenesis, your body producing heat by burning fuel. You want this happening as early as possible. And here is the second biological move that amplifies all of this. Water. Room temperature, ideally with a small pinch of mineral-rich sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. Because after 7 to 8 hours without hydration, your blood viscosity increases, your lymphatic system slows, your kidneys are in conservation mode. When you deliver water with electrolytes to your cells within the first 10 minutes of waking, you kickstart what researchers call cellular thermogenesis, rehydration. Your body has to spend energy warming and processing that fluid. Your lymphatics begin moving. Your kidneys signal the adrenal glands that resources are available, and that cascades directly into more stable blood glucose regulation for the next 4 to 6 hours. Think about what I just told you. Light, water. 2 biological moves, under 5 minutes, 0 cost, and they are already setting the metabolic trajectory of your entire day. This is not morning routine content. This is cellular biology. Here's your one move from everything I just told you. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, take 10 steps towards natural light and drink your water. That's it. 2 moves, less than 2 minutes, and your biology will already be ahead of where it was yesterday. Hold that. Let's build the next layer. The protein anchor strategy. Now let's talk about food. And before I do, I want to plant something in your mind right now. By the end of this section, you're going to have one specific meal order change that research shows cuts your blood glucose response almost in half. Same food, different sequence, 0 extra time. Hold that. Let's build to it. The first meal you eat after waking is not just breakfast, it's a metabolic instruction manual. Your insulin receptors, your liver, your muscle cells, they're all listening to the macronutrient composition of that first meal to decide what kind of metabolic state your body will operate in for the next 12 hours. Not until lunch, 12 hours. Most people eat one of 3 things first thing in the morning. Coffee with nothing, a carbohydrate-heavy meal, toast, cereal, fruit, or they skip breakfast entirely, thinking they're being strategic about fasting. And look, I'm not here to demonize intermittent fasting. It has real science behind it in the right context. But if you're going to eat in the morning, the order and composition of what you eat is everything. The research coming out of labs at Stanford, Harvard, and the Weizmann Institute is remarkably consistent. A high-protein first meal dramatically changes insulin sensitivity for the rest of the day. When you lead with protein, specifically meals containing 30 to 40 grams of complete protein with a full amino acid profile, your body releases glucagon, insulin's opposing hormone. Glucagon signals the liver to restore glycogen and free fatty acids. Translation, your body is now running on fat as a preferred fuel source, not desperately spiking and crashing on glucose. The specific amino acids that matter most in the morning are leucine, isoleucine, and valine. These are found in abundance in eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, quality whey protein, and lean meats like turkey or chicken.
When these amino acids hit your bloodstream within 60 to 90 minutes of waking, muscle protein synthesis activates. Your resting metabolic rate rises because muscle is metabolically expensive tissue, and you begin building a hormonal environment that actively resists fat storage for the next several hours. And here's the part most nutritionists won't tell you because it makes breakfast advice almost embarrassingly simple once you know it. It is not just about what you eat. It is about what you eat first within that meal. Research from postprandial science, the study of what happens in your body after eating, shows that when you eat vegetables and protein before any carbohydrates in a meal, the same meal produces 73% lower blood glucose spikes and 48% lower insulin spikes. Same food, different order, dramatically different biological outcome. There's your payoff. So if you're having eggs, spinach, and toast, eat the eggs and spinach first, wait 5 minutes, then have the toast. That is not complicated, but it is powerful, and almost nobody is doing it. And then there's the mid-morning window, the 2-hour mark after your first meal. This is where most people start to crash. The coffee wears off, the focus narrows, the snack drawer calls. But if you anchored your morning with adequate protein, what actually happens at that 2-hour mark is your body has completely absorbed those amino acids, your blood glucose is stable, your brain is running on a clean mixture of glucose and ketone bodies, and your energy is flat in the best possible way. No spike, no crash, just sustained biological momentum. Your takeaway right now, at your next meal, tonight, tomorrow, whenever, eat the protein and vegetables first. Wait 5 minutes, then eat everything else. Same plate, different sequence, completely different metabolic outcome for the next 12 hours. Movement without the burnout. Here's where I have to be honest with you, because what I'm about to say directly contradicts what most morning fitness content teaches. And by the end of this section, you will understand exactly why some of the most popular morning workout advice may actually be slowing your metabolism down. I know that's a strong claim. Stay with me and the data will speak for itself. High-intensity exercise in the morning, especially before you've properly fueled and before your cortisol and body temperature have peaked, can actually suppress your metabolism for the rest of the day. I said what I said, and the science backs it up. When you throw your body into intense cardio or heavy lifting in the first 30 minutes of waking, before the cortisol awakening response has completed its natural cycle, which takes about 45 minutes from when you open your eyes, you are spiking cortisol artificially on top of the natural CAR. The result is elevated cortisol that doesn't come down efficiently, and chronically elevated cortisol, even for a few hours, signals your body to store fat, particularly visceral fat, around the abdomen, and to break down muscle tissue for fuel, the exact opposite of what you want. So what should you do instead? Move, but intelligently. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, is one of the most underrated tools in all of metabolic science. A 10 to 15-minute walk outside at a conversational pace activates your lymphatic drainage system, gently elevates your heart rate into the optimal fat-burning zone, and releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is essentially fertilizer for your neurons. Your thinking sharpens, your decision-making improves, your mood lifts, not from caffeine, but from your own biology. Real quick, if you've ever hit that 11 a.m. energy wall where focus narrows, coffee stops working, and everything slows down, drop 11 a.m. in the comments right now. I read every single one, and I want to know how many of you are living this exact experience every morning, because what I'm about to tell you explains why it keeps happening and how to stop it permanently. And here's something elegant about this. The lymphatic system, unlike your cardiovascular system, has no pump. Your heart pumps blood automatically, but lymph, which carries immune cells, removes metabolic waste, and regulates fluid balance throughout your body, moves only through muscular contraction and breathing. When you walk, when you breathe deeply, when you move rhythmically at low intensity, you're cleaning your biological house, draining the overnight metabolic waste from your cells and priming every system for peak daytime function. The compounding effect of this over 6 months is measurable and remarkable. A 2024 longitudinal study published in the Journal of Metabolic Health found that individuals who performed 15-minute morning walks in natural light for 180 consecutive days showed a 14% reduction in fasting insulin, a measurable increase in mitochondrial density in their muscle tissue, and significantly better sleep quality, which feeds directly back into the quality of the next morning's CAR response. Everything is connected. Every morning you're either reinforcing this biological cycle or disrupting it. This week's challenge: replace one planned high-intensity morning session with a 15-minute walk outside. Just one. Then check your energy at 11 a.m. and tell me what you notice. 1 week of data is more convincing than anything I can say right now. The smart tech integration. We're living in 2026, and if you aren't using the data your body is generating every night to make smarter biological decisions, you're leaving enormous performance on the table. The newest generation wearables, devices like the Oura Ring Gen 4, the Hoop 5.0, and the emerging class of continuous glucose monitors that are now accessible without a prescription in many regions. These are giving you real-time metabolic flexibility data, and when you know how to read it in the context of your morning, it becomes one of the most powerful personalization tools in your entire health arsenal. Metabolic flexibility is your body's ability to efficiently switch between burning glucose and burning fat for fuel, depending on what's available. A metabolically flexible person wakes up, sees a low recovery score on their wearable, and adjusts accordingly. They delay their first meal by 30 minutes to clear overnight ketones more efficiently. They lower the intensity of morning movement. They prioritize magnesium-rich foods to support nervous system recovery. A metabolically rigid person ignores all of this data and runs the same routine regardless of what their body is actually telling them that morning. The recovery score on your wearable, synthesizing HRV, resting heart rate, body temperature, and respiratory rate, is essentially a report card from your autonomic nervous system. A high score means your parasympathetic nervous system dominated overnight, and you're primed for adaptation and performance. A low score means the opposite. And on those mornings, doubling down on intensity is biologically counterproductive. The science is unambiguous on this. And here's where AI integration is changing the game in 2026. Personalized health assistants built into platforms like Oura, Ultrahuman, and standalone AI health applications are now generating specific, timed recommendations.
Things like your HRV data suggest your cortisol clearance is sluggish this week. Consider delaying caffeine until 10 a.m. and adding an adaptogen to your morning protocol. This is not science fiction. This is what personalized biological optimization looks like today. Your morning routine should not be a fixed script. It should be a responsive protocol. The non-negotiables, light, hydration, protein-first nutrition, low-intensity movement, those stay consistent. But how you sequence them, how intensely you push, whether you add cold exposure or breath work, those decisions should be informed by what your biology is telling you that specific morning. That is the difference between a health habit and a health strategy. You are not lazy. You are not undisciplined. You were just working from incomplete data. Now you have the data. Now you use it. The rhythmic ritual habit. Now I want to bring all of this together in a way that makes it livable, because knowledge without implementation is just entertainment. The reason most people fail at morning routines isn't laziness, it is cognitive overload. When you wake up and face a 12-step protocol that requires conscious decision-making at every point, your prefrontal cortex, which is already at its lowest glycogen level of the day, gets overwhelmed. And an overwhelmed prefrontal cortex makes one decision. It defaults to the path of least resistance, which is usually your phone, which starts the entire wrong cycle over again. The science of habit formation from MIT's Habit Research Laboratory tells us that behaviors become automatic when they are consistently performed in the same sequence, same environment, same sensory cues. The cue triggers the routine runs on autopilot. Your conscious mind is free to do other things. That is the goal. Make the biological default the healthy one. So here's the framework. Think of it as a biological rhythm, not a rigid schedule. Move 1. Within 5 minutes of waking, natural light into your eyes. Window, balcony, outside. Phone stays face down. Light before pixels. That's the rule. Studies show this single change stabilizes cortisol patterns within 2 weeks. Move 2. 12 to 16 ounces of water, room temperature, mineral content, before coffee, before anything else. Hydration is the prerequisite to everything that follows. Move 3. 15 minutes of rhythmic movement in natural light, a walk, gentle mobility work outside. The dual signal, movement plus light, creates a biological amplification effect that neither produces alone. Move 4. Your protein-first meal, 30 to 40 grams of complete protein, vegetables before complex carbohydrates, eaten slowly without your phone. This meal is not fuel for the hour, it is a metabolic instruction for the entire day. Move 5. A deliberate 10-minute anchor. Journal, breathwork, meditation, intention. The moment where you consciously choose the frequency for your day. Research shows even 5 minutes of structured morning reflection produces measurably lower physiological reactivity to stress events throughout the day. They respond instead of react. They perform instead of survive. I want you to hear what I'm about to say slowly. Over 6 months of consistent application, you are not just having better mornings, you are changing your biological age. Telomere research, published in journals including Nature Aging, shows that sleep quality, cortisol regulation, insulin sensitivity, physical activity, and stress management, all 5 this morning protocol directly improves, are the most powerful levers for telomere length preservation. Telomeres are the protective caps at the ends of your DNA strands. Their length is one of the most reliable biomarkers of how fast your cells are aging. And every single morning you do this, you are preserving that biological clock. Not metaphorically, in your actual cells, in your DNA. You are quite literally turning back the clock from the inside out. Every morning you disrupt it, you accelerate the wear. The choice is made in 60 minutes every single day, and now you know exactly which 60 minutes those are. And here's the final piece, the environmental audit. Look at your bedroom tonight with one question in mind. What in this environment is working against your biology? Blackout curtains so complete that dawn never reaches you? A phone charger on your nightstand that makes scrolling the path of least resistance? A temperature set too warm, preventing the natural core temperature drop that deepens sleep and strengthens your next morning's CAR response? These are not small details. These are metabolic disruptors, and removing them from your environment is sometimes more powerful than any new habit. At Vitawave, we don't believe in white-knuckling your way to health. We believe in designing an environment where the biological default is the healthy one. When your cells wake up primed, hydrated, fueled, moving, and calm, you are not fighting yourself anymore. You are riding your own rhythm. And that is what health looks like when you stop treating it as a destination and start treating it as a rhythm you learn to live. If this video shifted the way you think about your mornings, even one thing, I want to know about it. Drop in the comments right now. What is the one move from this video you are implementing tomorrow? Light exposure before pixels, the protein first meal, the 15-minute morning walk? Tell me, because your comment might be the exact thing that keeps someone else watching and keeps them accountable to their biology. And if you're serious about taking this further, the full Vitawave morning protocol checklist, the wearable metrics guide, and the exact supplement timing framework I use with private clients, all of that is in the link below. No fluff, just the biology, just what works. If you want to revisit any specific part of this, the chapters are time-stamped below. I've marked all 5 moves so you can jump straight to whichever one you want to implement first. And if this is the first Vitawave video you're watching, subscribe right now, because next week's episode picks up directly where this one leaves off. Missing it means missing the second half of this protocol. Because here's the truth. Everything we built this morning, the CAR response, the insulin sensitivity, the metabolic clarity, it can be completely undone in the 2 hours before you go to sleep tonight. Not by eating badly, not by skipping the gym, by something most people do every evening without realizing it. That is what next week covers, and you're gonna want to see it. I'm Dr. Elias. Your body already knows how to heal. We just have to stop interrupting it. Until next time, ride your rhythm.